Um, Let us explore everything you need to know about Buddha nature. Excuse me. One moment. Please chant with me. A reoccurring phrase in both Mahayana as well as Tantric literature is the Tathagata Gautama o Buddha nature. This charming Iron Age turn of phrase hinted that enlightenment is our birthright and easily attained, without requiring heroic effort or noble sacrifice. Sounds great on me, yet, but the mystery remains, how is one to realize it? One of the many advantages of living in this age is that medical professionals have access to sophisticated imaging technology of which the ancients could have never conceived. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, studies have revealed that it is our sympathetic nervous system that is the seat of mindfulness society. Our parasympathetic nervous system that is the seat of meditation or samadhi. Un momento. And our anterior singular gyrus, that is the seat of our loving kindness or meta. It is these three structures that comprise our Buddha nature, but a villain looks. Just as a Buddha's foil was his foolish cousin Devadatta, so too is the team of our prefrontal cortex the seat of concentration and analysis, and our amygdala the seat of anxiety and aggression, the opponents to the mechanism of our Buddha nature. So this is a little bit, I think I need to use a different image to make it less confusing. Please bear with me. Let's see, let's hit insert, pictures, this device, pictures, N for neuroscience, and let's find amygdala. There we go. Now let's make sure this actually fits on the screen. It doesn't. All right, thank you for your time, and let's recapture our momentum. Just as the Buddha's foil was his foolish cousin Devadatta, so too is the team of our prefrontal cortex the seat of concentration and analysis, and our amygdala the seat of anxiety and aggression, the opponents to the mechanism of our Buddha nature. Just as a surgeon's scalpel could be used to take lives as well as save them, so too could both the prefrontal cortex as well as the amygdala be either used or abused. The solution to this dilemma is twofold. The easy method to strike the match of enlightenment already in our grasp is to allow our sympathetic nervous system to mindfully do its thing during our inhalations, and to let our parasympathetic nervous system take two, and to let our parasympathetic nervous system to meditatively do its thing during our exhalations, thus sitting in formal mindfulness and meditation once every 12 hours or so. We could set space to live for more empathetic. Take two. We could set space to live for more empathetic. Anterior singular gyrus effortlessly and automatically. A delightful fringe benefit of this is the manner in which our choices, utterances, and deeds could begin to flow from the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity, which is the key to the sustainable use of our analytical prefrontal cortex as well as our primal amygdala. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Having completed our opening lesson, come let us shift gears. It is Luke Skywalker Friday morning. Come let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. One moment, I must play you a grotesque little tune. That's right, folks. All class, all the time. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I indulge my autistic special interest and my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Excuse me. It would appear that I am officially the mayor of Mucusville. Oh, here we go. Won't you please chant with me? Whatever comes, may all beings let it come. Whatever stays, may all beings let it stay. Whatever goes, may all beings let it go. Welcome to the first of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. Let us practice the essence of mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during each inhalation, and let us practice the essence of meditation by silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Good morning, Victor. One moment, let's see. I'm going to hook like a bunny. Tap button 14. And now I'm going to do the old switcheroo. Alright, let's explore an adaptation and translation of verses on the Dharma mind. And I want to make that a little smaller so it shows up on the screen. So let me fix that bad boy real quick. 1, 2, 3, and let's make that 36. Come on now. Close enough for government work. All right. So this was by Sang Kan, the 3rd patriarch. He only ever had one student, but he changed the world with his writing. Please chant with me. Not chant. Please recite with me. And as you do, please relax as best you can during your exhalation. The way is not hard to find. Just avoid choosing. When preferences are gone, it is perfectly clear. Now I'm going to change this just to make it easier to understand. This is called an amplification. Because it's an amplification, I'm going to use distinctly smaller text. So I'm going to use a smaller font and I'm going to italicize it. And while I'm at it, let's do the same thing over here, or a similar thing. I do this not because I wish to be special, just because I wish to accelerate people's comprehension. Let's continue. The slightest distinction parts heaven and earth. To find it right now, stop taking sides. This way is not hard to find. Just avoid choosing. When preferences are gone, this way is perfectly clear. If only Anakin had been taught this, eh? The slightest distinction parts heaven and earth. To find it right now, stop taking sides. This way is not hard to find, just avoid choosing. When preferences are gone, this way is perfectly clear. The slightest distinction parts heaven and earth. To find it right now, stop taking sides. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's go back over here. And I had a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to have to delete that. And I'm going to have to go back 1, 2, 3 and do this again. Whoop, that is sloppy editing on my part. I beg 1,000 pardons. We now return to our practice text. Welcome to the 2nd to 5 mindful crease counting meditations. Let us practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during each inhalation. And let us practice meditation by silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Now, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. And by the way, if you start reading the Tao Te Ching, which you can probably find in Russian, and if you have any difficulties with any of the chapters, jot down your question and I'll happily explain it to you during class. Okay, now let's make sure. Oh, it appears to fit. Good, good, good. All right, let's recite. Fighting over signs is an illness of the mind. Until you understand the mystery, you still your thoughts in vain. Now what I'm going to do is edit. Fighting over signs is an illness of mind. Until you understand the mystery, you still your thoughts in vain. So fighting over signs is referring to the fundamental duality of pushing or pulling or dreading or desiring or loving or hating. Fighting over signs is an illness of the mind. Until you understand the mystery, you still your thoughts in vain. In other words, our job is not to stop thinking. Our job is to notice as we breathe in, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. And as we exhale, to physically relax, that we might better mentally release. And we do that to whatever we experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Fighting over signs is an illness of the mind. Until you understand the mystery, you still your thoughts in vain. Fighting over signs is an illness of the mind. Until you understand the mystery, you still your thoughts in vain. So, quick edit. Fighting over signs is an illness of the mind. Until you understand the mystery, we still our thoughts in vain. So here is the mystery. Whatever peril or safety we perceive during our inhalation, well, let's rephrase this again. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever peril or safety we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel profoundly impermanent. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lack or wealth we noticed during our previous inhalation could both feel impermanent. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever bliss or pain we noticed during our previous inhalation could each feel impermanent. And so it is this impermanence that is the common denominator. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever praise or scorn we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could each feel impermanent. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever fame or shame we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could each feel less permanent, more temporary. Let's make sure this fits. It appears to. Fabulous. going to tap button 9. Welcome to the third of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. Let us practice the essence of mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during each inhalation. And let us practice the essence of meditation by silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Together, let us relaxingly recite the third passage of Sang Khan's Dharma Mind. And if I'm mispronouncing his name, which I most likely am, I apologize and mean no disrespect to any members of the Han people. Let's see. Let's find this bit. It is perfect like the void, nothing missing, nothing extra. Because you grab and throw away, it does not look like that to you. Do not chase dependent things, do not settle for emptiness either. In all-embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. So, let's explain this first couplet. The South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna was fond of talking about the two realities, the conventional and the ultimate. That which we passively, vulnerably, viscerally, I think I did it wrong. That which we vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice during our inhalation, and that which we experience as we relax into our exhalation. There are some people who stomp about the countryside, prancing about the countryside, insisting that they do not perceive, they only release, that they can perceive nothing other than emptiness. And yet they cross the street without getting hit by a car, and that they don't walk in steaming piles of doggy doo. There's a special word for people like that. Boobs masquerading as Buddhas. So you can be a Buddha and still perceive. In fact, the only way to become a Buddha is to perceive. Let's continue. Do not chase dependent things. Did I go too far in this one? I did. I apologize for that error. Let's see if I can fix that. It is perfect like the void, nothing missing, nothing extra. Because you grab and throw away, it does not look like that to you. It is perfect like the void, nothing missing, nothing extra. Because you grab and throw away, it does not look like that to you. So basically what this is inferring is that whatever we perceive is perfect. It does not require us to pull. It does not require us to push. If things don't feel that way, it's because we haven't really made a habit of mindfulness and meditation. That doesn't mean we don't perceive doggy doo or perceive chocolate. It means we are not neurotically compelled to be controlled by them. Let's continue. It is perfect like the void, nothing missing, nothing extra. Because you grab and throw away, it does not look like that to you. It is perfect like the void, nothing missing, nothing extra. Because you grab and throw away, it does not look like that to you. Remember, our job is not to choose what to perceive. Our job is to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. So we, including not only we perceive externally, but we perceive internally. We perceive desires. We perceive dreads. That's fine. Because no matter what we receive, no matter what we perceive, we have the same response, which is notice and relax. That's the key to the peace we all desire. Oh, look at that. Welcome to the... Oh, good morning, Shivi. I hope I said good morning already. Welcome to the 4th of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. So Shivi, if I've already said good morning to you, don't take it personally. I have that delightful variation of ADHD where my mind keeps resetting. So I could say hi to you 3 times over 90 minutes and be surprised every time I saw you. Don't take that personally. Thank you. If you've just joined us, welcome aboard. Let us practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during our inhalation. And let us practice meditation by silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during our exhalation. So there appears to be a question. Let's take a look at that. Opinions on vril. Well, I'm not familiar with that word. Can you translate that into English for me? While I'm waiting for that translation, let's move forward. I'm going to tap button 14. So as we recite, let us relax as best we can. Do not chase dependent things. Do not settle for emptiness either. In all-embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. This is metaphoric. We don't lose the capacity to perceive, for the first enlightenment factor is mindfulness. But we're talking about, this is a metaphor, a delightful metaphor for transcending the tyranny of duality over our choices and utterances and deeds. So the thing is, we want to be able to still move through life, but instead of doing it neurotically, we do it peacefully. Do not chase dependent things. Do not settle for emptiness either. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. Do not chase dependent things. Do not settle for emptiness either. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. Do not chase dependent things. Do not settle for emptiness either. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. Do not chase dependent things. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. Do not chase dependent things. Do not settle for emptiness either. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. And now let's chant. Do not chase dependent things, do not settle for emptiness either. In all embracing oneness, everything disappears completely. Okay, excellent question coming right up. So I'm going to tap button 8. And I'm going to hopefully tap, there we go. I have an individual wrote, I have a very strong resentment and anger towards my mother, who abandoned me in childhood, and I am very irritated by how blind and self-deceived she is. I cannot do anything about it. Meditations help. Need to rise, but this energy of anger still returns. It might for a long time. The presence of anger is not an indictment. The absence of anger is not an acquittal. The question is not what emotion do we feel. The question is what do we do with our emotion. And so if we feel a big, old, strong emotion and we persist in noticing it in harmony with our inhalation and relaxing as best we can in harmony with our exhalation, that is our victory. And here's the great irony. We all recognize that anger can be destructive, but when we harness it with the power of mindfulness and meditation, we put a bit in its mouth, a bridle over its head, and harness it to the plow of mindfulness and meditation, it serves us. It serves us well. Enlightenment is not the absence of unpleasant emotions. Enlightenment is nothing more than the mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, a mastery that can be accomplished in as little as 7 days. So, as we relax, and we'll get to that in a minute. Bear with me 1 moment. I'm going to tap button 9. Welcome to the 5th of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. Quick at it because that's how I roll. If you don't like the way my texts are, just wait a day or two. I'm going to hit delete. Okay, and there we go. So, let us practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during each inhalation. Let us practice meditation by silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Now, here's where it gets interesting, Victor. Check this out. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever anger we might have noticed during our previous inhalation, whatever cruelty or stupidity or superficiality we might have perceived during our inhalation, could feel less tangible, if only for a minute. Yes, that is very insightful, Victor. People will feel bad because of our retribution. So that's an excellent question, and I covered it, I think, in a recent reel, but I'm happy to explore it right now. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. So 90% of people who are into spirituality are actually into Yang's religious patriarchy. And these people love to victim blame, and they love to point the finger, and they love to say, well, if someone's cruel to you, it's because you deserved it. What a horrible thing to say. Talk about kicking someone when they're down. There is a minority of people who are into Yin's spiritual matriarchy. And when they hear of someone suffering at the hands of another, they empathize. And they allow themselves to feel pain, the other person's pain, and to feel it personally. These people don't talk about karma. They talk about things we can do right now to harness that tremendous energy of our suffering and find ways to benefit from it by using it to fuel our mindfulness and meditation. So if the majority, there's a very good reason why the majority of physicists and the majority of neuroscientists do not believe in free will. And there are some wonderful videos we can find on it on YouTube. I'm neither a physicist nor a neuroscientist, so I cannot speak super intelligently on it. Although there is no physiological or subatomic component where we can find free will. Can't find it. We can see the illusion of it, but not the reality of it. I know what it's like to have a cruel mother. So I'm right there with you. And she was cruel right to the very end. And as she was dying and I tried to comfort her, she didn't want anything to do with me. As I sat next to her on the couch as she was being eaten alive by cancer, she moved away from me. All I wanted was to hold her hand and comfort her. The mother who had been cruel to me. So we cannot always control our circumstances. We cannot always control our bodies. We cannot always control our relationships. We cannot always control our own minds. But we can notice and we can relax. And that is the secret of life, the universe, and everything. So that's okay. I love dogs and I love cats. And sometimes a dog will always return to your side. Winston Churchill referred to depression as his dog, his black dog that always returned to his side. And yet, despite the great burden of depression, he eased the suffering of many of his countrymen. Our personal histories can be painful and can be burdensome. But the great irony is when they drive us to practice mindfulness and meditation, they serve us. And so, yes, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune could very well be an inconvenient blessing, a painful blessing, but a blessing nonetheless. And this has been recognized by luminaries for many, many millennia. And now you can recognize it as well. So it's kind of like this. Think about this. Every day you most likely eat at least one meal. Every day you most likely go to the bathroom. The next day you're ready for another meal, at least one, maybe more. And so every day you have to eat. Every day you have to defecate. Every day you have to urinate. Every day you have to sleep. Every day you have to wake up. Every day you have to bathe. Every day you have to shave. And so the persistence of needs can be an inconvenience, but we can use the persistence of these needs to benefit us. So there is a time and place for everything. There is a time for recreation. There is a time for rest. There's also a time to exercise the effort and the courage to confront our inner demons. So the time is getting late. So let's, together as a team, meditate right now. I'm not sure if I've gave the final meditation instructions. I'm not sure who's received them, so I shall repeat them. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during each inhalation. And the most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during each exhalation. So let us do that together right now as a team. So I wish to interrupt meditation to explore an idea. So in medicine, there are two types of activity. Some is curative, some is palliative. Some deals with the symptoms, and some deals with the cause of the symptoms. So distracting ourselves from the gross injustices that we have endured can treat the symptoms of that suffering, but not the cause. Working with mindfulness and meditation treats the cause. Thank you. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 8 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.